GB2 capital G here. More quick duels for you guys to check out. Each one of these duels is only going to be, I believe, about a couple of turns, so don't blink, otherwise you might miss some of the action. The first duel is going to show you guys the ceiling of the Dark Warrior deck. This is a deck very similar to what Kinkaboo ran at YCS Dusseldorf, and again, a lot of people, myself included, thought Dark Warrior was basically dead as a deck because no Rongo, no Gumblar, but they obviously would still have the ability to go into Azathoth. However, with this turn one play, you will see that like Azathoth will be it'll be the least of your problems if you're running a deck like this, and you only need to make small adjustments to your basic standard Dark Warrior to kind of show what you can really do. He opts not to use the effect, or really not to take any cards out of his opponent's hand with the Neospatial Aqua Dolphin. If you take Jackalope out of your opponent's hand, that's bad because they get a monster on field, so you wouldn't want to do that. That would be kind of troll. Anyways, Armageddon Knight summoned, and then you're going to go for Destrudo. Don't quote me on this, but don't be shocked if Destrudo ends up getting like limited to 1. I don't know if that would like do that much, but I do know a lot of people play multiple Destrudos, and that card is like so nuts, man. It's not just going in for Yazi, but also being able to go for, like, you're seeing Power Tool Dragon see a lot more play as well. With Steam the Cloak, we know that card is broken, and even without Needle Fiber, where you can summon it from the deck, it's still a ridiculous card. So you can see he's setting up for the Azathoth play. He's going to use the Steam the Cloak token to get a Link Karibo. Already having Don Dragster on board, he does actually play Malicious, and, well, no, playing Malicious is standard, but plays Preg Splitter Zombie just so that he can go into those easy level 8 Synchro monsters, which level 8 Synchros are so much better now that we have Borreload Savage Dragon. So right now he already has 2 Spell and Trap negations on board, plus an attack blocker. He needs to obviously find a couple of level 4s on field. Instant Fusion and Armageddon Knight will help him with that, and he actually sent Quoteless to the graveyard so that he can get himself a double evolution pill. So you can see that he's just racking up the disruption. Also has Phantom Knights of Fog Blade, and you can see his final field is way better than what your standard Azathoth combo is. Standard Azathoth combo could easily be broken by Speedroid Pankatrops or Twin Twister or something like this. However, with this board, even if that did happen, you still have like Don Dragster, you still have Conductor Tyranno, you still have Link Karibo to potentially stop an attack from a Pankatrops, you still have Borreload Savage Dragon, and if he loses either one of these guys, then his BLS now becomes online. Because right now, I don't believe there are any light monsters in his graveyard, but he has 2 light monsters on his field, so if those actually go down, then he's fine. Even if he didn't want to use Link Karibo to stop the attack, he does have the Fog Blade. So I mean, this is a multiple disruption play, and this is essentially the ceiling of this type of deck. Again, you do, like adding a couple of dinosaur cards does give you the ability to have also Conductor Tyranno, which makes the board significantly better, but it's not something that you like absolutely have to run. It just makes your turn 1 board a little bit better. So second duel is actually going to be going back to Azathoth land, as we have Lunalight Danger facing off, or Danger Lunalight, however you want to call it, Danger Lunalight facing off against, it is, oh man, what's the name of the archetype? Speedroids at the top, and Speedroids kind of have the perfect answer to the Azathoth play. It's a little card that a lot of people don't play called Regeki. Even better because he went for the Phantom Knights of Brigandy, and he's just setting himself up to get Regeki so hard. I actually don't even know. I don't know why he would even summon here. I don't know why he wouldn't just hard activate the Regeki. It just doesn't really make any sense, to be honest. I mean, I guess he wanted to get the token on field. That's the only thing that I could think about. If you just would have hard Regeki'd, you would not have been able to keep the token, which I guess in theory does make sense because, he's able to go into Gum Gun because he did have a wind monster. So, okay, that kind of makes sense. His opponent blocks the attack with a Fog Blade, which I would not have used Fog Blade because the monster couldn't activate the effect. Then he top decks Serenade Dance, not really good there. He's going into a second copy of Gum Gun, and now he's able to start doing what he wants to do, and Speedroids can do a whole lot of damage. The one thing I think he forgot about is the fact that Fog Blade can reborn the Phantom Knights of Rusty Bardiche, and maybe that's why he used it to begin with, is he just wanted to reborn his Bardiche. That actually does save him here from being killed, because Chambara does have the ability to attack twice, and really, there's only one card that can kind of save this Lunalight player. It's not Serenade Dance, but Serenade Dance definitely, can be used. However, he is actually going to draw that card, and that card is Lunalight Perfume. I would be so mad if I was in this duel, because the Speedroid player probably should win this, but his opponent top decks the Perfume. That gives him access to Kaleido Chick. Now he can drop Panther Dancer in the graveyard, use Yellow Martin. to put another body on board. He can activate the effect again, and since he got another monster by way of the Kaleido chick from the Yellow Martin, it means he also gets the Wee Witch's Apprentice on board, and now he can simply go for Leo Dancer. And let's be real, when it comes to your opponent having a whole field or Leo Dancer, like, come on, Leo Dancer's gonna win every time. She attacks, she nukes his entire board, then she attacks again, Wee Witch's Apprentice attacks for game, and that is a comeback, which was, I guess the original comeback would have been if the Speedroid player won, because he was facing a very tough turn one, but you know, sometimes your opponent gets those lucky top decks and knows be the breaks. Our final duel is actually going to be Speedroids versus Endymion, and, or excuse me, not Speedroids, this is Psyframe versus Endymion. Sorry, all the win archetypes look the same. This is a really good productive turn for the Psyframe player, right? Not only is he going to negate the Extravagance, which is also just, I mean, that's good, but then he's able to make Omega during his opponent's turn, take a card out of his hand. I was like, dude, that was really good for him. He's going to be able to, I believe, summon Alpha this turn as well. Now, the thing about the Endymion deck is, this is why I believe that this deck is just going to be meta. This deck, man, it doesn't seem to matter if it just has a little bit of resources, mainly because of these freaking pendulum effects. Like, these pendulum effects of, like, Servant and stuff, these monsters that can summon themselves and summon other monsters, like, these are what make the deck, like, just completely nuts in my opinion. You see, he has basically no resources, right? It does not look like this guy should be able to combo just having a Jackal and a Servant of Endymion. Like, just 2 cards. It doesn't even look like he's going to be able to do anything, especially considering he already uses normal summon. Nope. Activate the Endymion in your pendulum scale. Activate the effect to summon 2 monsters. Now you already got negation from your Sorcerer Supreme. You can also go into, well, he's going to go ahead and he's going to summon his Psyframe monster. He attempts to use the Psyframe circuit. This is actually going to punish him, because what he's going to do is he's going to use Sorcerer Supreme to simply bounce his Citadel, and then he can just like reactivate it. So that's pretty cool. He's going to get Jackal on board, go for Heavy Metaphors, Electromite, and he's going to pop a scale, add a scale, and then simply activate his scales again. Use the Pendulum Summon. The fact that this guy at one point had no resources and now he has just recovered like an entire board and Pendulum Summoned is just stupid. And also, this is a card that people might not realize. Arcanite is going to be relevant again. You see that he used Destrudo to go into a level 7. Usually you would see people go for, I guess, like Yazi and stuff like that, but you don't even need Yazi. Arcanite Magician's actually better. Arcanite Magician can remove spell counters from anywhere on the field, not herself, and that wasn't relevant before, but now, since like every card on the field has a billion spell counters, basically Arcanite can just nuke entire boards. So Arcanite just nuke, nuke, nuke. You can remove spell counters from your pendulums, or you can remove them from your field spell, and you can just basically wax your opponent. I mean, sure, he could have used Beta to stop an attack, but he would have been out of resources at that point, so he just scoops it up knowing that I'm not going to be able to do any more damage against this player. And yeah, this deck really can have like almost no resources and then kind of just crank itself up. And again, like no hard once per turns on these effects, which I think Konami's going to ultimately regret that. I know that they're based on spell counters and stuff, but I think Konami's going to look at that and be like, man, we should have put hard once per turns on these effects. But yeah, those were kind of interesting duels. Let's pause for one quick second and let's check out that Dark Warrior Dino list. Okay, so this is what the Dark Warrior deck looks like on paper. I was mistaken. I think I said it was identical to the version that got third at YCS Dusseldorf, but there are no Orcus in this build. This is basically just a straight up pure version of Dark Warrior, minus the, minus like the dinosaur stuff. I mean, it's really not going to be that many dinosaur cards in most of these decks. You're basically just going to run, you're going to run like 3 dinosaurs. Armageddon Knight drops the dinosaurs in the graveyard. Hell, sometimes you even see Armageddon Knights in just pure versions of dinosaurs, simply because it can send your quote list to the graveyard, and then you can just get your double evolution pill, and then that summons your Conductor Tyranno, since you do have a dinosaur in the graveyard at that point. But yep, kind of shows you guys that you don't have to play Orcus, you don't have to play like Dangers to have the stupid pop-offs where you can make a whole lot of disruption plays and your opponent's not going to be able to deal with them. Another cool thing about this build is that it is such a high number of cards that even your one-ups that can kind of be brick cards, you're not actually going to draw them. There's no Mermare in this deck. There's no Yazi. That was actually kind of surprising. Just the one copy of Destrudo. I was super shocked by that. I was like, really? There's no Mermare? I mean, I guess it would be a card that obviously raised your ceiling, but I think it's because the extra deck is like so tight in this build. If you did run Mermare, then you have to throw like a Yazi in, and it's like he's already playing 2 level 7 synchros. Do you really want to run a third one and then have to throw in another monster potentially? And I'm not even sure if he's running enough nightmare monsters to really even warrant like the Mermare combo, because usually you'll see people go for like a Nightmare Phoenix and Nightmare Unicorn in like the same turn, but he only plays Unicorn and Griffin is obviously just for like a stun card. You're usually not going from like one monster, the Mermare, straight into like Nightmare Unicorn. That doesn't really happen all that much. But yeah, just an interesting take on Dark Warrior. And I guess the last thing is, this build is actually fairly budget. For those of you guys who miss playing Goki or Dark Warrior and you still want to run essentially kind of like in his Soul Turbo Dot deck, this can be for you, because from what I've seen, the only like expensive cards are basically Boral Sword and then like Nightmare Unicorn. Not sure exactly how much Griffin costs, but the cards in general really aren't that expensive. Well, I guess also Borload Savage Dragon, but just the extra deck cards.